Every second, 2 people just took their last breath. Every second, 2 people no longer on the face of this earth. Every second, 2 people gone, but perhaps not forgotten. Not forgotten dependent upon how they maximized their time or their moments while they were here on earth. And that's exactly what I want to talk to you guys about today, is moments. You see, moments are either lived, lost, but never recaptured. You see, in our culture, we measure everything by seconds, minutes, hours, days, years. If you go to a cemetery and you look at tombstones, you see the length of life they lived. But perhaps late U.S. President Abraham Lincoln said it best. It's not the years in our life in the end that count, but the life in our years that matter most. And so perhaps you could be a 21-year-old who goes too soon but lived a much fuller life than someone who lives to be 90 and never maximizes all the opportunities that they have. You see, every day in your life, you're presented with little moments. Moments to interact with people. Moments to change people's days by a word of encouragement. Grocery store clerk. There's moments presented before you every single day. And the reality is, a lot of these moments are beginning to be hijacked. Hijacked because of distractions. Hijacked because of what we're consumed with. And so these moments are being presented before us every single day. And we lose out on them. Exhibit A, right? How many of you remember watching Super Bowl 53? Junior higher Ryan McKenna had a moment of a lifetime that was presented before him. One of the pop icons of the last 3 decades, known as Justin Timberlake, puts on a phenomenal Super Bowl show. Crazy, and he decides to enter into the stands and have a one-on-one dance party with young Ryan McKenna. But Ryan McKenna completely misses the moment. A moment that we would argue he'll never get to experience again in the rest of his life. I highly doubt he'll ever be at another Super Bowl where Justin Timberlake is the halftime performer and begins to go have a little dance party with him. He missed the moment. You see, life isn't defined by the years we live. Life is defined by the moments we maximize. You see, the Greek word on how we usually define time, where we know that 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, 7 days in a week, 4 weeks in a month, 12 months in a year, 10 years in a decade, 100 years in a century. That's how we like to consider time. And everything around you is consumed by that clock. You see, in reality, a lot of times we don't manage time. Time is managing us. You have to get up at this time. 7 a.m. your alarm clock goes off. And for the rest of the day, your entire day is predicated off of minutes and hours. That's what the Greek would call Chronos, measuring time that way. But they also have another word for time. It's Kairos. And this is where they define time as moments and opportunities. You see, before watches were even existed or invented, they measured time by moments. What they would accomplish that day, what they would interact with, whose life they might impact, opportunities that they would seize. And no matter how hard we try to recapture moments, all of us would attest to the fact that it's impossible. 2 years ago, I went down to a Bahama island known as Eleuthera. And at the very tip of this island, there's a beach called Lighthouse Beach. And you can't just easily drive to the tip of this beach. It is a 20-minute through the rough, normal landscape of this Eleuthera island that has not been touched, this foliage and habitation that is rough jungle as you get to the beach. But once you get to it, it is the most pristine beach I've ever been to. It's where the Atlantic meets the Caribbean. It is gorgeous, and my wife and I are sitting on the edge of this cliff. looking out, seeing these two waves collide, two different colors of blues, and in that moment, my wife and I look at each other and we knew. We knew we had a moment together, a moment shared, a moment that will be etched in time that no one could ever take away. So I went back to Luther this year. And I was so excited to go back to the same place, but my wife wasn't with me, but I had to go back to the same place because in that moment, it was so special. I thought I would go relive it by myself. Dumb mistake. So I get down there and I take the 20-minute ride through the jungle vegetation to get to this point. And when we went there last time, there was nobody on this isolated beach. Now, 2 years later, they've decided to drop cruise line ships right off so people could come see this beautiful thing that they weren't dropping cruise line ships at 2 years ago. So I get there and it's crowded and it's packed and I'm devastated. And I realize this about moments. You either live them, you lose them, but you can never recapture them. As soon as you go on today and tomorrow, you'll have moments. And once you have those moments pass you by, they're gone. You don't get to relive them. You don't get to recapture them. Every moment that's presented for us is an opportunity to maximize. So at the end of your life, the question won't be how many years did you live, but how did you maximize the moments you were given? Perhaps there's someone in this school that has been bullied or is sad or is struggling, that your one moment in time where you interact with them could change everything. You see, I don't think life consists of chronos, seconds, minutes, hours. I think life consists of the moments you're given and the opportunities you have. It's up to us whether or not we learn to seize these opportunities. And what completes a whole life or a full life are individuals who learn to maximize those moments that they're given. I've never in my life have I seen a U-Haul follow a hearse to a funeral. I've just never seen it. And all of us would say, well, that's ridiculous. Of course you've never seen a U-Haul follow a hearse to a funeral. Because we all know the individual that has lived their life, however short or long, in the Chronos span, isn't taking anything with them. And I've spent a couple of times beside someone who is on their remaining days that doesn't want any materials to be accumulated. They just want to talk about the moments that they shared in life, the opportunities they seized. They want to collect their family. They want people around them, and they want to reflect and talk about all the moments and the memories they had together. You see, but if we're not careful, we continually allow this to hijack our moments. Think about this. We used to take pictures to capture moments. There was a moment, get the camera, let's capture this moment. Like me on the edge of the Eleuthera. But now, we take pictures trying to create moments, and as a result, we're actually missing moments. We used to take pictures to capture moments. Now we take pictures trying to create moments, and as a result, we are missing moments. So you see all of you in this room, and every single one of you in here, will have that moment with a grocery store clerk, with a peer, with somebody you may not even like. A tutor, a coach, a friend, a mentor. You'll all have these moments in life. Life consists of these moments. And you'll never get them back. But what consists of a full life is when we learn to bring all those moments together so that when you and I take our last breath, we will know and we will believe that our life was complete and that it was full. Because we didn't allow our moments to be hijacked by seconds, minutes, and days, or a technological device that wanted to hijack the moments we get to live in. Thank you.